Project Privacy Fence. Full effect.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Sasha.
And I'm Rory.
And today we're actually outside working on the backyard, in particular our privacy fence, and we're going to take you along with us as we work on it. As you can see in the back, we already started, so we're just going to bring you up to date on what we've done so far, and as usual, bring you through the steps of how we're going to get this privacy fence done. This is a picture of our inspiration right here, so let's see how close we can come to replicating it.
Enough digging and cutting, that's all I have to say.
Alright guys, let's go. So our intention is to put up a privacy fence right here, behind what is going to be our vegetable garden. Rory has started digging the hole, and this is a hole that we'll put the 4x4 in. We'll attach some 2x2s to the walls, and then we'll attach our horizontal slats to those. The height is going to be about 7.5 feet. Alright, this is going to be a project hit or miss, because we're not sure if the miter saw can cut the 4x4, but we're going to try anyway, because it's the easiest saw that we have right now that we can use to get this done. So we're about to try this out and see what happens. Let me see how far down it go. So you couldn't get it to push through. Alright, so we ended up cutting it turning it in the saw quite a few times. You can see the evidence there, but we got a pretty clean cut. We'll attach it to the wall using concrete screws before we pour the footing. So we have mounted the 4x4. We use cement in the, what you call this, footing? Cement in the hole. And when it dries, it's supposed to be very firm. We also, because to get it level, we had to wedge it back, and we just screwed it in for additional support. Now we have to work out some measurements for the ones that we're going to put on this wall and that wall, and we need to determine what distance from the pole we have to put it, to ensure that when we put the horizontal boards across, everything is level. So we're gonna work some mats now and put up the 2x4s. Hoping that the wall is plumb and straight, we're going to just take the measurement from the wall to the front of the 4x4 and use this measurement from the wall to the front of the 2x4 and we're going to use that as a guide. Good morning. It's so early and you're sweating already. Welcome the family to, what day is it? Day 2 of building a privacy fence.
Day 2 and the final day.
And the final day. We want to finish today, guys. So we want to prove and show that this can be done in a weekend. Well, using simple tools.
Can be done in one day.
In a weekend.
Started late Friday afternoon after work. We did all of the prep work first in terms of putting up the columns. So what we're doing now is just sanding, ensuring that the boards are smooth, no rough edges, and just taking off the first layer so it will take the stain the best. And we have 4 different stains?
No, we only use one stain. We're using dark walnut, Rory. That's it.
Look that pretty one.
Let me see how it turn out. Alright, so we're using 1x6 and our 1x3s are over there. And let me just show you the post from last night because it got dark, so we couldn't really see. This looks set to me. Yep. So 1 4x4 and 2 2x4s, which we need to cut the top of this one and this one, and then we should be ready to nail up. One down and 13 more to go.
6 are the big ones.
To make the horizontal stained woods really pop, we're painting the supporting structure black, and right here we're using a black oil paint, but it has a matte finish. We've used this paint on so many projects before. I'm surprised that we still have paint in the buckets. This is how it looks when we're done. We didn't paint the bottom because we're not going to see that part at all. So for the horizontal pieces, we're going to be using 1x6 by 12, and we're going to cut off the little piece because our area is about 11 feet wide. And we're also going to be using 1x3s. We're going to be alternating the slats to give it a nice different type of design. It's a little bit different from the inspiration, but we like the idea. We think it's going to really pop. Now this stain that we're using is dark walnut in the Lanco brand. We also have it in a Sherwin-Williams brand, but the colors don't match, so we won't be using the Sherwin color at all. I'm going to put on about 3 coats of this stain to get the desired look, guys. At first I didn't really like it because I don't like orange based stains, but after adding a few layers onto it, we decided that we're going to go with it and see how it looks against the house, because the house color is very dark, and so we wanted something to brighten up the space. All right guys, so that was a real workout. I'm tired, and this is just one side. So I'm finished with the, well, Rory finished sanding everybody. I finished staining one side of each of them. 1x3s are over here, and now I have to move on to the other side, and I believe I'm also running out of stain, so we might have to make a hardware run down to our favorite place, Rapid, and get another tin. But I'm going to work with what we have and see if we can, how much we can get from the tin. They always say when you're planning, plan for rain, but that was not in our plans. Guys, it rained, and because it rained, some of the lumber that was out started to warp and twist, so we didn't get to stain the other side of it. We decided to just put it up to try and get rid of all of the twisted lumber before it got worse, and then we would just stain it while it was up. Right here we're using the same size wood. It's a 1-inch thick wood as the separator between each slat, so that will ensure that each of the slats or each of the spaces is the same distance for all of the slats that we're putting up. We're also using a nail gun to attach each slat, and we're attaching it to each of the supporting structure, each of the supporting lumber. What we'll do afterwards is to then use wood screw to hold it together to give it a stronger hold. And we're going to be doing this for the entire build. For each slat that we put up, we use a spacer and then we nail it to the support and then we screw it to the support. So there are two ways which you can cover up the screws. You can either go in and put wood filler over each of the holes, and we did use a countersink drill bit to get the screw holes in, so we have enough space to actually put the wood filler, or you can use another strip of wood and just nail it over it to cover the screw holes. Either one will work as long as you have wood filler in the color of the wood that you're using. Once you stain it over, then it shouldn't be a big deal. Or if you want to put this strip there, then that is an additional design feature, I think. Once the wood dried out, I went ahead and added stain to the other side. I'm going to be adding 2 coats of this stain, or 3 to some, to ensure that I have the same color on all of the strips. This part was easier, guys. It was much easier to sand the strips while they were up than it was to sand them while they were laying flat. So if you're ever doing a project like this and need to stain your lumber, I would recommend staining it while it's already nailed up. It's just that you will need to stain both sides to ensure that it's sealed, so ensure that you have the access to do that. This is how it turned out, guys, and I am loving it so far. The next thing that I'm going to do is to cover those screw holes, and the easiest way that I decided on, or we decided on, was to use the wood strips. So we just bought some door strips and I am spray painting them black because I thought that spray painting would be easier than hand painting. It kind of was not. If I had to do this again, I would just hand paint it and call it a day, because 1 coat of the hand paint could get it exactly how I needed it. After it was painted, I just nailed it over the screw holes. I also, guys, used a level to ensure that it was straight while trying to cover all of the screw holes. I missed a few here and there, but you can hardly tell from the video or from pictures. You have to be really up close to see it. I just have to cut the top of these strips off to make it level with the wood. Now the next thing that I have to do is move these tubs back in front of the privacy fence. Rory was out of town at the time, and as you can see, I cannot move these tubs to save my life, and so I had to call up a friend, Ruben, to come over and help me put the tubs back into place. Even Tuesday was trying to help. She was very concerned that I was trying to lift this heavy thing, right? And Royal came out to supervise as well. Thank you for your supervision, Royal. Once we had the tubs in place, the only thing we had left to do was to level them to ensure that they weren't rocky, and then we were good to go with the position of the tubs. These are going to be our vegetable garden, so I'm very excited about filling them with lovely fresh produce. Okay, so we have completed the privacy fence. I think that this was a easy project. If we didn't get rained out, then I believe that we would have finished this in a day. We now have to complete the area with the vegetable garden, and we're also working on a deck for our grill, along with a number of other DIY projects to complete this backyard. We're also working on the succulent garden, and I think this one is going to be a real hit. So if you're interested in any of our projects, guys, stay tuned. We have a lot coming up, and thanks for watching.